All right, we are getting ready to finish up unit number 2. Business 201, fall of 2020, Principles of Marketing with Professor Joe Lane. It's always a good idea to put that at the first. It just helps with slotting and of the videos and that type of thing. We are, as I said, in chapter 10. We are about to finish unit 2. Now, the only other thing that you've done in unit 2 is you have prepared, or I'm not looking at the exact dates of what the time is due, but that marketing news article. You've read something in the world of marketing, have done a summary, 300-word, one-page summary of it, and told me where you got the article and that sort of thing. That's all covered in your course contract or your syllabus. Okay, chapter 10. Do not look at the book. Not using the first half of chapter 10 in the book, we're not using. So don't refer to it. Didn't particularly like the way the author did that. I actually have put this together out of Business 101. So if you took Business 101 with me and you're thinking, these notes look kind of familiar and that looks kind of familiar up there, you're right. But we're going to use it again for Business 201. Now let's make sure we understand what we're talking about. Product, price, place, and promotion. We're talking in chapter 10 about getting the product in the right place. Now this probably has more to do with goods that are produced as opposed to services, but not entirely. But the idea is businesses produce a good or a service, but they have to get that where people want to buy them. And we know if it's a convenience good, people don't want to go too far to get it. If they want a Dr. Pepper, they want it quick and they want it close. Now, if they're going to buy a Jaguar, a specialty good, they'll travel further. But still, you've got producers, manufacturers, businesses have got to put their product in a place where folks are able to get it and are willing to go there to get it. So chapter 10 has to do with the placement of goods and services. Okay. Here's a business. Here you and I are. The idea here is to get the product from here to here. Moving the product from here to here is called the channel or channels of distribution. I want you to know what the channels of distribution are. Everything comes off of this handout. Okay. All right. Well, there may be one exception to that, and I'll look at that in just a minute. Channel of distribution, a whole set of marketing intermediaries who join together to transport and store goods and services from producer to consumer. I want you to know that definition. Now, in knowing that definition, it's kind of like a whole set of marketing intermediaries. I'm not sure exactly what that is. So I'm going to come back to that definition I want you to know, but I'm going to do it first of all by saying who's in the channel of distribution. Most businesses are really good at producing their product, but they're not good at, or they don't have the resources or the time or whatever to distribute their product. They have to rely on others to distribute their product. Have you ever noticed the number of 18-wheelers on the interstate? It's a lot of them. You know what 90% of those 18-wheelers are doing? Distributing products. They are moving products from the producer to the consumer. That's what they're doing. Now, not all products are distributed by, some are by air, some are by interstate commerce, some are by train, some are by boat, But most of these 18-wheelers, that's what they're doing. They're distributing product to a place that's moving that product place to close to the consumer. All right, that's going to buy it. All right, so here's the business. Here we are. who gets involved when it comes to distributing products or placement of products? You have what's called agent brokers. Let's say that your business is growing apples. You probably use this example in Business 101, and I'm going to shorten it up for you, but I'll use it. You grow apples, Washington red apples. You're really good at growing apples, but you're not, you don't have any way to distribute those apples. So you may utilize or you may hire an agent broker. An agent is someone who is going to hook you up for a fee with a wholesaler. Those wholesalers are going to buy your product, and those wholesalers are going to distribute those products all over to the United States, those apples, to other wholesalers, and then on to retailers. And then those products, with an agent broker getting with wholesalers and wholesalers getting with retailers, those products are going to end up in retail Brookshire's and stores, Mac's and stores like this, where you can walk in and buy that Washington red apple close to your house. So there are some folks that are involved. They're not the folks that's buying it. They're not the folks that's producing it. It's these people right in between here. Agent brokers, wholesalers, and retailers. Agent brokers do not take title to the product. They simply get the business together with a wholesaler that can distribute the product. We're talking about Washington red apples. There are agents that specialize in agricultural products, and they know the wholesalers that are wanting to buy and distribute those products on to retailers. Now, kind of on a local scene, you ever heard of agents? What kind of agents do you have? Or brokers? Insurance agents? Real estate agents? Real estate brokers? Okay, that's the same sort of thing here. The company is using agent brokers to move the product, in essence, to you, whether that be an insurance policy, or let's say you're getting ready to sell a house. You hire a real estate agent. That agent doesn't take possession of that house, but what that agent is going to do is try to move that house from the agent to you, the customer. Agent brokers, they don't take possession, but they work with wholesalers and retailers to allow that product to be exchanged. Wholesalers are people that take possession, but they don't sell to the ultimate consumer. They move the product either to wholesalers, and eventually they move it to retailers. I put retailers in red, or whatever that color is, because they're the ones that sell to the ultimate consumer. The people in here, between here and here, are called marketing intermediaries. These are the people that are responsible for moving product from the manufacturer to us for purchase. Now, when I say channels of distribution, businesses can use some different channels. Businesses, now one thing most every business is going to do is they're probably going to sell directly to the customer by way of the internet. But in addition to that, so that's one channel. Some businesses may distribute some product directly to retailers. They may distribute some products to agent brokers or wholesalers. So there may not be one channel of distribution, there probably won't be, that a business uses. It may use 2 or 3 or 4 different channels of distribution, depending on how to get that product to the customer in a particular area, or maybe different products that they manufacture, they use different channels of distribution. You don't have to use all of these marketing intermediaries. You as a business use whichever ones are ones that are best. Does that make sense? All right, now if you read the definition again, let's see if it makes more sense to us, since you have to know it. Channel of distribution, a whole set of marketing intermediaries who join together to transport and store goods and services from producer to consumer. Now, marketing intermediaries, organizations that assist in moving goods and services from producer to consumer. So you see now they kind of fit together. Okay, what are the things that make up, what are the marketing intermediaries? Wholesalers. marketing intermediaries that sell to other organizations. Wholesalers either sell to other wholesalers or they sell to retailers. Retailer. The thing that makes retailers different is they sell to the ultimate customer. They sell to the customer. Agent brokers, they bring buyers and sellers together. They assist in the exchange, but they don't take title. Is that okay? Does that make sense? So I want you to be familiar with wholesaler, retailer, and agent broker, but I want you to know channel of distribution. All right. What do these folks do? All right, let me throw those things down here for you. Well, one thing we know these folks do, they transport. Let me go off camera and see if I've gotten too low for you. I mean, you've got it on your handout, and I'd like to at least have it. Oh, yeah, we can see it. They transport goods and our services. They store them. This is August. By about the end of October, maybe not even that long, Christmas stuff's going to come out. You're going to go into Walmart and there's Christmas trees. Well, do you think those Christmas trees were shipped in from somewhere else? Probably not. Those Christmas trees were trees that were probably stored at Walmart that didn't sell last year. So one of the things that marketing intermediaries do, they transport stuff. Another thing, they store stuff. Marketing intermediaries sell things. That's what retailers do. They sell. They advertise or promote. They advertise stuff. And they build relationships. B-U-I-L-D, relationships. With whom? With each other. These folks get to know these folks who get to know these folks and this sort of thing. So they build relationships. These are the things that marketing intermediaries do. There's probably some others, but that's the main things that they do. I would be familiar with the things that marketing intermediaries do. When we talk about they assist in moving product from the producer to the consumer, they assist how? They move it, they transport it, they store it, they sell it, they advertise it, they build relationships. All right. Here are 3 things about marketing intermediaries that I'd like for you to be familiar with. There's 3 things. Number 1, you can eliminate the marketing intermediaries, you being the producer, but you cannot eliminate the functions they perform. Does that make sense? As a business, do you have to use an agent broker? No. Do you have to use a wholesaler? No. Do you have to use a retailer? No. You can eliminate all those people. But what is it you can't eliminate? This right here. Now, if you're a business that's really good at being able to transport your goods, store your goods, sell your goods, advertise your goods, do all that kind of stuff, and move them to the ultimate consumer, you don't need these folks. But most businesses are good at producing. They're not good at those other. That's not what they do. All right. 3 things about marketing intermediaries. You can eliminate the marketing intermediary, but you can't eliminate the activities they perform. Number 2, they have survived in the past because they have performed the marketing functions cheaper and faster. Why are these people still around? Because they're experts at this. They don't manufacture it, they don't buy it. This is what they do. They transport, store, sell, and advertise. They build relationships. They move the product, they sell it, they do these things. This is what they're experts at doing, and they're better at it than anybody. And there's a lot of time and effort and resources it takes to do this, and they have those things. So the second thing is they've survived because they perform this function cheaper and faster than anyone else. Number 3. They add cost to the products, but usually more than offset by the value they create. Does it cost to use these people? Well, yeah. But they add value, or another word is utility. They add value or utility to the product. If I want a Washington red apple in West Monroe, Louisiana, and you're producing a Washington red apple in Washington, D.C., it's not going to do you much good unless you can get it a lot closer to that to me. You got to get it close to me so I can buy it. So yeah, it costs to get it to Westboro, Louisiana, but it adds value because it's in a position where I can buy it, where it never would have been otherwise. Okay, does that make sense? I want you to be familiar with those three basic points about intermediaries. You can eliminate the intermediaries, but you can't eliminate the functions they perform. Intermediaries have survived because they do these functions faster and cheaper than anybody else. And yes, they do add cost to products, but they also add value to the product, or utility of value. Now, what utilities or value do they add to the product? I'd like for you to be familiar with that. They put the product in the right form. If you go to a grocery store and you want to buy some fish for dinner, you want to cook them, they're not going to sell you a live fish swimming around in a bucket that you check out with. That fish is going to be on a big heavy sheet of cardboard. It's going to be filleted and it's going to have that sheet over it. That fish didn't do that to themselves. Somebody did that. They put the product in the right form for the customer. If you go into a clothing store, everything is on racks. It's by size, men, women, that sort of thing. They didn't jump up there on that rack. Marketing intermediaries put those things in the right form and format for you. So one utility, one value they create is in the right format. Number two is time value. They get it to you when you want it. I've already mentioned that Halloween stuff comes out in September. Christmas stuff comes out at least in October. Poor old Thanksgiving just kind of gets pushed to the side. If I decide to run for president, I may not do that, but in case I decide to do that, one of my first executive orders is going to be, let's keep our holidays straight, okay? Let's don't start Halloween stuff until the 1st of October, and then we do Halloween. And let's don't start Christmas until after Thanksgiving. And then let's give Thanksgiving week the week to do Thanksgiving. We're getting these things too fast. Okay. But anyway, if you're going to sell Halloween type items, and boy, Halloween decorations and stuff's gotten huge, hasn't it? You got to have that stuff in your store now in September. And so marketing intermediaries make sure you get it there. Okay. So they give it form, utility, or value. They give it time value. Place value, they put it where you want it. We've already said that. Possession value. Retailers allow you to take legal possession of it. Isn't that kind of strange? But that's true. You know, it costs retailers money to allow you to take legal possession. You got to be able to buy that stuff in there and purchase it and come out with the receipt and the merchandise. Information. A lot of wholesalers and retailers provide you information. I talk about Best Buy. A few years ago, I wanted to buy a camera. And I knew what I wanted. I wanted a camera that took really good pictures. I wanted a really good zoom on it. I didn't want to have to fool with a bunch of gadgets. I don't want to fool with dials. I didn't want to fool with all that stuff. I just wanted to be able to put it up to my eyes, zoom it like I wanted it, and shoot the picture. That's it. So I went into Best Buy and I said, this is what I want. And the person was very knowledgeable in helping me and giving me a couple of choices on cameras and telling me the advantage of each one. TP Outdoors, and I don't own any stock in TP, but if you go at TP Outdoors, there are people in there that'll help you. Can I help you? My sink, underneath there's that pipe that goes like this and it's leak. Oh yeah, and they'll take you back to plumbing and say, now you need this pipe, plus you're going to need this, this, and this. And then the last thing is service. Marketing intermediaries provide you service. We talked in the chapter on products. I like steel products. I think they're a good value product and all that other thing. Here's the other thing I like about steel products. If if my steel weed eater or something happens to it, I can go to that steel dealer, that retailer, bring it into the service department, and I got too quiet. Bring it into the service department and have it fixed. Now, if you buy, and look, if you want to do this, there's a Pouland chainsaw. It's the Pouland Wild thing. It's green and purple. It cost about $100 when I bought it years ago. One of my big mistakes. But not costly, but a dumb mistake. Okay, I bought the Pouland chainsaw. It could cut a limb about the size of my finger. Get much bigger than that, it was going to have trouble. But one of the first things it said when I opened it up and all that kind of stuff and got out of the box, it says, if you have a problem with this, do not return it to the store from which you bought it. Do not take your chainsaw back to Walmart and say, can y'all fix this? You have to send it so and so and so on. When I buy a steel product, if something goes wrong with it, I go to the retail and I take it to the service department and they fix it. So anyway, what are some values? What are some values that are utilities? Hey, look, market intermediaries do add cost to products, but they add utility or value to product. What are those utilities or values they add? They put it in the right form. They get it to us at the right time. They put it in the right place. They allow us to take legal possession of it. They provide us information, and they provide us service. Okay. The last thing in this chapter, you see where I have push or pull strategy. Now, just take a time out for just a second. I did not check this before I started this chapter with this particular text. So let me see if this is in chapter 10. It doesn't matter because we're going to do it right here, but I still want to see. I don't see it in the first half of chapter 10, although it could be there. But we're going to talk about, we're going to kind of explain it anyway. I want you to be familiar with the push and pull strategy. Now, I didn't say much other than push and pull, so you're saying, well, I'd like to be familiar with it, but you got to tell me more than this. Okay. Businesses. It depends on how businesses go about promoting their product. If a business, where am I going to draw this? Let me take the internet off of here. We talked about that as one of the ways businesses sell product. But let me take this off of here because I can use this. If a business promotes directly to us, businesses that produce products, if they promote directly to us, that's called a pull strategy. If businesses do promotions to us, that's going to try to build up demand for that product. Does that make sense? Harry Potter, when those movies were so popular, when they finished the production of that movie and that movie was ready for release, they promoted to us as consumers. And people were crazy about the Harry Potter movies. So all of a sudden it's, we want it, we're ready for it. Do you think that movie theaters across the nation were jumping at the opportunity to get that movie in their theaters? On several screens probably? The answer is yes. This is called a pull strategy. That means businesses are going to promote to the consumer. and build up a demand for that product. And when they build up that demand for that product, these agent brokers, wholesalers, and retailers, they want that product in their stores. So it just pulls that product through the channel. See, does that make sense? Is you okay with that? It just pulls it through the channel because there's such demand out here from consumers. Those wholesalers and retailers, they want to move that product where it's ready to be purchased by the consumer. That's a pull. That's a pull strategy. Now, these companies may promote directly to agent brokers, wholesalers, and retailers with the hopes of them putting their product in their stores as it goes down to retailers, so when customers walk in, it's there to be purchased. This is a push strategy. What they're trying to do is promote to agent brokers and or wholesalers or retailers to push their product through to the consumer. Let me give you an example. I have a company that produces fishing bait, fishing lures that you catch fish with, okay? I know if I can get those fishing lures into Academy, into Walmart, into Simmons, into those kind of businesses, that I've got a really great chance of selling that product. Because if I do a great job of packaging it and that sort of thing, when the customer walks in and they're looking for lures and says, hey, look at this. That's a push strategy. So I'm gonna work with agent brokers. I'm gonna promote with wholesalers or retailers. I'm gonna give them deals. I'm gonna do promotions with them. I'm gonna do things with them to try to push my product through the channel so it ends up down here with retailers so that it can be sold. Does that make sense? That's the push strategy. Push strategy starts with promotion to agent brokers, wholesalers, and retailers in the hopes of getting that product to the retailer so customers can see it. The pull strategy is promoting directly to the consumer so that it will just simply pull it through the channel because everybody in the channel wants it. What is it that most businesses do? Do they do push, or do they do pull, or do they do both? Probably most businesses do a little bit of both. They do some promotions to the marketing intermediaries. They do some promotions to the consumers. Not all, but most do a little bit of both. That's chapter 10. Chapter 10 comes off of this and off the video. That completes chapters. And the way I said it, chapters 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, the first half of chapter 10. But you really don't even look at that first half. When we get into unit 3, the first thing we'll be talking about is retailing. That's the second half of chapter 10. But we'll talk about that then. You are getting ready to take test number 2, 100-point test, unit 2. Chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, and the chapter on placement. You either have or will turn in your marketing news article to me. And we're halfway through the semester. Hope you're doing good. Again, remember, you need anything, things like this, we're meeting together if you need to come at 11 o'clock on Tuesdays. I think that's when marketing is scheduled. Again, don't have my schedule in front of me. Do you ever have to come to class this semester? The answer is you do not. If everything's working well for you, I got it together, I know what I'm doing, that's fine. If you have it all together, but sometimes you need to call me or text me or email me, can you do that? Sure, that's what I'm there for. Or if you need to come to class on a Tuesday, to ask me some questions, to get me to clarify something, to do something for you, can you do that? Absolutely. Okay, that takes care of chapter 10. I'm getting ready to have the loud clap which says that we are done with that chapter, and so that Professor Pierce will know that. And next time I'll see you, we'll be in Unit 3.